welcome back to another map-making episode of Law and Order, where we build the Waterdeep for the police procedural, starring some of your favorite Twitter shit posters. We are back in the front end of the watch post. The guard post, the head office for the City Watch in Waterdeep. As you might remember, we've pretty much finished this back end here, and last week we were working on some officers for the officers. Just something to, create a little bit of a different character, to get a sense that people with separate lives and personalities are living in these here spaces. We're going to try something a little bit similar, maybe just on a lower level, on a lower scale. And we left the desk sitting right here in the middle of the bullpen to remind us that that's what we're trying to do this week. So we're just going to compare desk sizes here. This could probably be a wee bit smaller. Again, when you're dealing with these sizes, it's a little bit odd if... let's just try no, okay. When you go from... If you drop down by 5 from 100 to 95, it's not a big deal. When you go from 15 to 10, suddenly you're shrinking it by a third. And that's kind of a big deal. Okay, well, we don't want that. Let's see if we can't bring these down a little bit more. You should be about level... You know what, let's make them about level 2. And our desks can overlap them a bit. Now we're going to manually shrink these desks down a bit. Is it height or is it weight? It's definitely width, not weight. I have no idea what's going on anymore. Okay, let's just click on it instead of trying to tab or shift tab. Just make this a slightly smaller desk, something for someone who's not quite as important, as it were. And now we can look at shrinking it down just a bit more. Bullpens aren't really a thing we would do in fantasy settings, but we're trying to push for that slightly metropolitan look. Bit of anachronisms within Waterdeep just to create a sense of something new, the big city compared to maybe some of the smaller towns or some of the more traditional D&D settings. We're gonna maybe try and squeeze one more in there. I think we'll just move this bullpen label up here now, and we might even be able to, use the L and the P to slot that in a bit further. I don't think we need to go into too much detail at the moment. We're just sort of mucking around with some layouts, get an idea of just how many desks we could try squeezing into this whole space. So I don't think that one's going to go in there nearly as well. But what we could do is try and slip a few more desks along the bottom here and then put something in the middle of here, maybe a couple of notice boards or something. So we'll just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I don't like that. That's sort of needs to be a bit more of a through fare, but you know, what if we just take these two, put a copy of them, squeeze them up in here. Yeah, I feel like now we're probably getting just a wee bit too cramped. But if we maybe see, this could work like this, yeah. And then if we delete that, we can just grab these four and just sort of pop them down here like this. So we've still got our through fares. We don't need that big. We can put notice boards or something up on the walls here, perhaps. Okay. These are at level 2. Okay, so we'll try and slip some chairs in underneath them. We'll see if they can go underneath at level 2 or if we need to drop them down to level 1. Again, we don't need chairs that are too fancy, just decent quality. Now again, we're just going to compare them against the existing chairs, and they can be just a touch smaller if needs be. Again, these are for the rank, and these are for the file. I think I just used that completely wrong, as we can see there on top, so we'll have to just move that down to layer 1. Again, we'll get some of that slightly odd posting. Lep, how you doing? It's just gone afternoon now. It's going not too bad. Bit of a slow start, but as always, just happy to be hanging out doing some D&D stuff. Little sad that we missed Law and Order proper this week, but all the more reason to make up for it in a couple of days from now. How about yourself? What's new in your world? How's the family, and has Keegan been behaving himself? Trick question. We know that's not true. Okay, so I feel like I want to mix this up a little bit more. There's probably just a touch too much repetition in some of these angles. We want to make it a little more subtle. 6 episodes. So I believe you probably finished chapter 1 and you would have got up to episode 5 is where we first come into the guard post, I believe. That's when I realized I should probably prioritize building this place as a visual map for everyone to be seeing. Does Australia do Halloween? Look, Australia does do Halloween, just not in the way America does Halloween. America tends to go very, very much all out. You might see kids trick-or-treating out in the suburbs here and there. Never really been into Halloween myself. Look, while I did grow up in a very, very hardcore, conservatively religious family, it wasn't it. I just thought Halloween smelled funny. It was all the cheap plasticky stuff. I was a weird kid, but what you gonna do? Oh, yes, we need to make that a bit bigger. Yeah, I swear America treats Halloween almost like up there. It's not 4th of July-ish, but it's definitely whoops. It's definitely like a I don't know, definitely up there with Thanksgiving, you know? I think we'll make this standalone desk the Rorick Kerwin's, the Watchful Order guy, so he can have a few more books piled onto his desk. Now, I wish there was a button that would just do a random rotation instead of doing everything by groups of 15 degrees. Ooh, yeah, that's it's good a read as any to decide that Halloween is a bit overrated. Yeah, yeah, true. Which is weird. St. Patrick, why are all these at level 0? What on earth is going on? Um, I always thought it was funny because St. Patrick's color is blue, and blue is the traditionally more Irish color. But dear God, if everything isn't like incredibly green in the American St. Patrick's Day. I do like the American commitment to festival holidays, though. It's pretty great. Do we have are these? No, those are individual papers. Okay. Let's look for some other police desky sort of things. Let's go to my. Oh, hang on. I've got a couple of other. Once again, I'd like them at layer 2, please. Guinness. Don't forget the Guinness. Look, I know when America was first being, I guess, colonized, if you will, and the cities were still early, the Irish had to band together. There was some pretty insanely intense sort of culture, but the modern Irish are fairly easygoing. They as as amused or bemused as the Irish might be with, or the older, more traditional Irish communities might be with St. Patrick's Day around the world. Mostly they're just happy to see people celebrating, having a good time. I mean, it was perfectly acceptable to be racist towards Irish people for a long time. Google Irish, no Irish need apply. It's a great, and when I say great, I mean horrifying, but it just sort of comes out of nowhere a bit. Let's look for clutter. Ooh, you know what? A couple of mugs on desks could be good. Make them a bit bigger, just so they're visible. We'll use random stamps for this one. Alright, let's go back. What else have we got? Ow. Couple of bookshelves can't hurt. What are these? Playing cards? Maybe not so much. Ooh, target practice. Just going to go ahead and slip one of those in the break room right now, but we'll see if we can slip it up against the wall so that it looks like a dartboard. Yeah, that could work. I think we'll try and... Is it width? It's... love it. There we go. Alter the width. It looks a little bit like we're angling it down. I like. Me likey. Yeah. I know there's a joke. I've seen plenty of memes online about October 31st, all spoopy. November 1st, Christmas everywhere. Fastest change. Yes, thank you. Yes, dude. Yes. Okay. Let's see what else we can just stick on a few desks. What on earth are these alembics? Okay. Scrolls and maps. This could work. Ugh. My left arm is grumbling. This is fantastic. Let's drop that. Oh, let's drop that down to 15. Actually, if we tilt it that way, it looks a little bit closer to the way the chair is angled. And back we go. You know, I was looking for Inkwells previously. At least now I've got some. And really there should be one of these at every desk. And, you know, it doesn't matter too much if they're all the same. They will certainly want to turn them around some. But they'd be standard issue, so reusing the quills isn't as big a deal. Here we are inadvertently creating left-handed and right-handed individuals. Amazing. Of course, yeah, Thanksgiving. That's between Halloween and Christmas, yes? Now, Thanksgiving obviously isn't a thing in Australia. Make of that what you will. Maybe we're just a bunch of ungrateful pricks down here, I don't know. They keep calling this the lucky country, but a lot of people seem to love complaining about it. You know, we could probably slip a hat or two dangling off a chair, but let's come back to that. Ooh, prison keys. I'm going to stick that. Up here. The fourth Thursday of the month. Oh, of course, we're already in November. I assume that's the fourth Thursday of November. Okay, that's weird. Okay, I gotta slip a couple of pillows on some chairs here, see if we can get away with this. So move that down. Oh, that's gonna work. We won't put pillows on all of them, but you know, sometimes the older folks will just change the color up a little bit. Sometimes the old folks might just, or you know, the ergonomically minded. Oh, please tell me a story, Lep. Tell me a story. Ow. Okay, yeah, I'm actually semi-familiar with that, I believe. Just gonna maybe put some bookshelves around somewhere. Uh, yeah. I know there's some conflicting stories about how things went down. I know some people said things went great up until, other people said things were shit from the get-go, other people said sometimes it was great, sometimes it was shit. Um, I highly recommend the Red-Headed Libertarian on Twitter. Her name's Josie. Her cat Figaro is just one of the most photogenic cats you'll ever see, and she's really good on American history and American constitutional law, amongst other things. No, I did get it back to front. See if we can squeeze two of these bad boys in here. We probably can if we hide one end under a wall. Now that probably needs to be a little bit higher because the bookshelf will overshadow the partition. Brilliant! Oh, I did do these back to front. Yeah, that works. I mean, whenever anyone says don't get me started, I kind of just, yeah, exactly. I want to get you started, you know? Now, I want a wee bit more clutter around here. It's just not quite messy enough. It doesn't look like people, I don't want to say live here, but for lack of a better phrase, it doesn't look like people live here. Um, let's look at some other categories. Yeah, I think everyone knows the First Amendment and the Second Amendment. A few people know the specific amendments around whatever political acts they prefer to grind. Most people probably haven't bothered reading the actual Constitution. A lot of Australians think that freedom of speech is almost identical in Australia to what it is in America, where it's really more implied by our Constitution, I believe, and that's because I haven't read our Constitution in some time. It's just not my thing. Okay, just for good measure, let's shrink that down to 15, and I'm gonna stick a pair of boots underneath one of the desks for that annoying motherfucker that always kicks their boots off or their shoes off when they're at their desk, and you just wish they wouldn't. I knew a guy, he was important enough up the pecking order that he used to walk around his office in suit, tie, and socks. Yeah, it's very hard to separate any kind of civic or history lesson from whatever the prevailing narrative at the time is. Agreed. Even Waterdeep, for example, I'm going to be exploring some socio-political philosophy stuff and obviously it's going to be explored our way. It's going to still be quite irreverent and shit-posting, fast-talking, nothing safe sort of stuff, but yeah, you can't really talk about these things without bringing in your own underlying beliefs, because what other what's the word? Ooh, metal hat. That looks like a watch helmet. What other point of reference do you have? We'll turn off random. Put that up to layer 2. Now that might not be obvious enough, but now let's try transforming that. Doesn't really matter if it's weight or height. Yeah, I know we do give people a lot of shit for always sort of bringing their narrative into the conversation. But again, like I said, it's hard to separate yourself from your beliefs when you're having a conversation. Okay, I think that'll do. We'll go back to stamps and just put a regular. Of course, that helmet needs to go on a different desk because I've established this desk belongs to a mage, not a standard watchman, civilar, etc. Okay, what else are we Let's close the hats up for now. What else are we sticking around there? I mean, dead body seems a little too macabre and gruesome for the front of shop. Okay, let's stick... Oh, magnifying glass. Yeah, we'll put a couple of magnifying glasses on our desks. Hey, thank you. It's I think this is probably the biggest, most complicated map I've ever worked on, and that's including when I was building a server in Neverwinter Nights where everything was three-dimensional, which is something I would love to try playing around with, just to get, even if it's just to get some nice 3D screenshots. Waste waterfalls. Okay, that's obviously not good. No good for this one, but cockroaches and rats. Random stamps, good. Yes. Let's just put a couple of roaches here in this corner. Now what we'll do is pop these down to 0 and have them sort of poking out from various points of this pile. I've never found it an issue yet. See, I do think the holding cells are too clean. So I'm playing Arc at the moment with Jess, who plays Felia. Having a great old time. We're playing on a non-dedicated server, so it can get a little bit frustrating, where you have to be within about 400 meters, I believe, of the host, being Jess. And you think, being able to run off, you got 800 meters diameter in a circle. It's really not that far sometimes. Okay, let's get rid of the roaches and now add some rats. I'd love to try maybe some Arc in a group server with everybody. You got to level 80 on official. I'm genuinely impressed, man. I just hit 80 somewhere in the last couple of days, I think. Yeah, we're having trouble getting cement paste. We're on the island, the OG map, and we're set up at the river junction in the northeast corner of the redwoods. So there should be beavers galore, but the beavers aren't respawning, so the beaver dams aren't respawning. We're not seeing a lot of insects, so we've tamed a couple of frogs, the Beelzebuffos, however you pronounce it. So, yeah, I don't know, man. Don't know what to tell you. Okay, we don't really want much in the way of roaches or rats. What we might do, though, is just slip a rat under this desk here, and we'll put some, like, old food or something on the desk. That dude's gonna be the slob of the bullpen. So a friend of mine from way back has Arc on his laptop and on his Xbox. So he's using his Xbox to run a dedicated server and then logs onto that with his laptop. So I go on there and play there occasionally, but because we put in all our hours years ago, we don't want to put in all the hours again, so all the settings are turned way up. And when I introduced Jess to it, I was like, there's a lot going on here. Let's play a vanilla server to learn the rules and the settings and all of that stuff. So that's what we've been spending a lot of time on, and it's amazing. It is really great playing vanilla again, seeing someone else get to see it for the first time. It's almost like seeing it fresh again myself, which is I love. So we got some food here. I don't want to just have straight up rotten food. Yeah, when I had a lot more money to spend, not that I'm saying I spent it wisely, but I had a lot more money to spend, so I wound up buying another Xbox to run a dedicated server on, and I ran that for years. So let's just stick a plate here on this desk. Oops, shrink that down. That's a bit too big a plate. And now let's make it so the plate is on the desk. And go back and we'll put some chicken or something on it. Or a couple of sausages. They are so similar, I don't see what the point was. Put a couple of eggs and sausages. That'll do. The plate with some food, there's a rat, this guy's a slob, you know it, I know it. Maybe you can stick like a piece of clothing stashed under the desk somewhere and really go all in on this notion. Sure thing, dude, I am not going anywhere, at least not for a little while yet. Okay, what do we got in the way of clothes here? We'll just use this top one. Okay, slob confirmed. What else have we got? I would like to create some more desks to imply some more different kinds of people. Okay, so I'm actually not this one. Let's get a box or a barrel even, but a box will work. And I'm going to make this a little bit bigger. One, okay. Now we go back. And we're going to grab some of these. So we'll start with some hand puppets. And put them up on level... Actually, they should be able to stay on level 1. Shrink them down a bit. We got random stamps selected. This is good. So now we've got the patrol leader. I'm thinking the desks will be civilized patrol leaders, people who actually have to write up reports and plan out patrols and shit like that. So now we've got the patrol leader who keeps a box of toys near their desk for when children have to be brought in. We'll check out some random toys as well. Yeah, there can also be some just sort of scattered around on the floor. No, not that one. I don't like that one. Ugh, what just happened? Okay, I guess we'll just hit X and then go toys. Toy? Ah, oh, come on. Random? It said random toys. Come on. Okay. Okay, dude. Oh, there we go. We're back anyway. Oh, good. We'll just have a few blocks. Oh, that's weird. And now we want the C block and a train sitting up on the desk. Okay, there we go. So we've got the empathetic to children desk person. I'm probably going to make NPCs for at least any of these desks that have specific characterizations attached to them. Okay, now we'll just go back to okay, show me some tools. Is there like a really handy... The hell is that? A holy book. Okay. Okay, we need the Office Evangelist. Roll a d10. 6. 1, 2, not Rorick. 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. So this guy is... I have made a lot of changes. I should consider saving my work. This desk will be the Office Evangelist. Oh, Ragnarok is so beautiful. I can't wait to show that one off next after the island. Although we'll probably do the center first. Just because the center chronologically, in order of released maps, the center came after the island. But Ragnarok is just gorgeous. And, of course, it has wyverns and griffins. I love the griffins. Okay, so what else can we use in terms of holy things? Let's see if there's like a temple or something similar. Library, light, temple. Okay, not ideal. In fact, I would say not useless, completely useless for desk furniture, but that's okay. I have not played Scorched Earth yet. I do understand that to be very much hard mode, arcade mode, but I'm willing to give it a go. I'm excited. Is that just shattered stained glass? Yes. Okay. We'll just stick an oil lamp on there and say it's for religious purposes and go back to looking for something a little more obvious. I'm looking forward to having Jaboas without, obviously just spawning them in. Have you tried Aberration? If you thought Scorched Earth was challenging, having played Aberration with guys who've played both, I'm led to understand it's considerably insane. You know what? We'll just shrink down a sundial and make it be some sort of holy thing. Or, if I can, we'll see if we can just find like a small statuette. That could be a statue of one of the gods. Yeah, the fact that every 3 or 4 minutes the whole map would just go into a massive fucking earthquake and stones would start falling from the ceiling, that was, not gonna lie, it was a fun mechanic at first. It got old very fast. So obviously one of the problems with these statues is, oh, that's a scarab. I thought that was a helmet with wings. That makes more sense now, yeah. Okay, these statues are no good. That's okay. I think we're at the point now where we can, yeah, it's definitely more dangerous. Those hell dogs were insane. You get 2 or 3 of them run up on your base before it's finished being built. Yeah, that's it. Go find a new spot. You had a good run. Interesting. Okay, I think we're done with that desk for now. What's this? Broken shelves. Nah. Broken shelves in this area would already have been moved out the back. Okay, so we'll do one more quick scroll through the catalogue, see if anything jumps out at us, and after that I think we'll call that done for now. Oh, the climbing picks. Add that to the zip lines, the gliding wings. I wish they could retro some of that technology back to the bigger maps. But I understand there's a lot more maps out now that may incorporate the rest of that technology, sort of like how Ragnarok had Scorched Earth built into it. So, you know, I'm excited to try some of the later maps for that reason, to have the aberration technology, but without, well, let's be honest, without the earthquakes every 3 or 4 minutes. We're definitely still looking at turn off custom assets. We're definitely still looking at something amiss here. We're not seeing nearly enough stamps. Yeah, I went from Aberration back to Ragnarok for a time, and then it just sort of petered out. So be it. Okay, let's zoom out. Have a look at the bullpen. That looks pretty good, actually. I'm happy with that. Let's just see if we can shuffle that around a bit more. Yeah, that works. Okay, something else I thought about just after last week's episode was I want to move the break room back here and the meeting room down here. Just because there's a direct line of sight straight from the waiting area into this space. So we want this space to be professional looking. We don't want people sitting here waiting, looking straight through to members of the watch just sitting around having a laugh, playing darts or whatever, which incidentally means this needs to be moved up here somewhere. I'm sure said watchman in the break room wouldn't care, but the higher ups, you know, like the higher ups are always thinking about optics and how to make the organization look better. They'd be the sort of people who would say, no, put the break room up the back and put the meeting room down the front. So first things first, let's drop that down to 0.1. Is that right? Is that how the rest? Yep. Curvature? Oh, circles. That's cool. Hey, OMGM, Sunday is map day until next week when Saturday is going to be map day. All the same, here we are, and it's good to see ya. We just finished up making the bullpen. Got a couple of desks. Actually, I did want to put a little bit more at this desk, didn't we, to specify this is the Watchful Orders guy. So let's go to Wizard or Arcane. No, there was definitely more than this. Something's going wrong with the stamp catalog again. Hey, I'm gonna also try to get down to my local game store on, I believe it's Wednesdays, somewhere in the next couple of weeks. Obviously, when my body's a little more amenable to. Oh, why have stamp sets been unticked? When did that happen? Everything makes more sense now. Okay. 151 items. The world makes sense again. Vampire Hunter suitcase. That's cool. Puzzle boxes. Let's put a wizard staff in. We'll just turn it into like a wizard's wand, maybe. Actually, what I'm gonna do is stick that there like that, and we're gonna transform the height and make it look like it's leaning up against the wall, against the desk and the partition. Yes, yes, I like it. Arcane Domain Cleric. Interesting. Interesting. That would pair well with a wizard of some sort, or maybe even play a cleric of Gond and pair it with Artificer. I would love to play a single class through to 20 if a campaign existed where that was the goal, to get to 20, but as long as we're playing low-level classes or mid-level characters, I should say, not classes, yeah, pairing things up in interesting combinations creates some great character concepts. Alembics. Yeah, I like this idea. Let's stick a little bit of arcane equipment on his desk. Okay, we'll put that there, and then we'll just grab these and move them out of the way. In fact, that can be notes on whatever is going on in the Alembic. Elysium. This has got to be one of my favorite pieces of music from Epidemic Sounds Fantasy. My plan is to use this track specifically for what's basically going to be the fantasy equivalent of a Halo insertion that will come towards the end of the first arc. Fair enough. Thank you for letting me know. I will go ahead and turn that up, and just for good measure, I'm going to restart this piece of music. It starts slow, but it builds up into something incredible. And Is there something else to add? Just a splash of colour to that back, that other side of the desk, and sort of balance it out a little bit. So we'll get rid of watercolour and stick with the good res stuff. That's quite interesting. It appears that it's been turned down within Discord. I'll have to look further into that. Yes, yes, it's got the incredible, almost fantasy dubstep, and the transition is gorgeous. Oh, I'm just reading, hang on. Yeah, so... Sorry, I get chills from that transition. Yeah, Lep, that sounds incredible. Sounds like it's almost like getting to multi-class into Wizard without having to lose out on the higher level Cleric stuff, which is great. I would love to see more subclasses that borrow from other classes to allow for a more multi-class feel without having to sacrifice those later levels. Okay. That looks good. So we've got Rorick Kerwind's desk, the Watchful Order of Magists, Arcanists and Magists, Protectorists and Magists. It's a mouthful. Couple of other desks. We've got our office. So I'm going to make that a little bit bigger and try to specify that, yes, white, cross, golden trim, this is a holy book, this is our office evangelist. The dude who takes his shoes off, the slob, and the one who has all the children's toys for when kids have to be brought in and questioned. Now we'll go down to the meeting room. Okay, how do we want to do this? Okay, we're going to create like a whiteboard, or a chalkboard I should say, out the front here. No, not that. Now, how did we do that previously? I think we used a wall. You know what? I think this window piece right here will do well. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 3.5. About there should be center. The waiting room does need a most wanted board. Have you seen? Do your part. Yes, I know it's 1 o'clock. I'll have lunch after the stream. And we're going to increase the width. We're not going to increase the width, we're going to increase the height. That's 2, that's practically 2 as well. I've got to put that down to 200 from 205 just to satisfy my own irrational impulses. Let's get some... Let's quickly go to the waiting room. So we've got some pot plants in the waiting room. I feel like here's a good spot for a most wanted board. And what we can do to specify that it's the most wanted is just put a couple of pieces of paper on the floor underneath it to specify that they've, give the impression they've fallen off. I think we'll use this wooden doorway, was what we did previously in another office. And of course, if that's a pot plant, there's no reason we can't put that behind it. And now we go back to some paper. Okay, you got a deal. Page? No? Alright, screw it. We're going to clutter. I know it was in clutter. We could try getting away with using cards because it's got that extra color there. Like, wanted on top, picture, details at the bottom. Give it a go. We'll blow them up a bit. We don't have to go to 70 on this one because nice. Well, herein lies the challenge, to create a complimentary drink jug that not even Felia would want to touch. Challenge accepted. Okay, so we've got a couple of... We've got a couple of sheets of paper here on the floor. That should be enough to, if I say a most wanted board is visible, etc., etc., they can see that that's it. We'll put a little jug on the side there. So let's kill clutter and let's look for something like food or kitchen. Food. There is food. Oh, there we go. It says vegetarian food, but I like the idea this is a jug with a little ladle for pouring into some cups. So shrink that down a bit more. Push that up. Should be layer 2. Yep. And now we'll get some cups. Now, cups included with food? Yes, they are. These can actually be sitting in a sort of a nice order, just because there's someone here who might want to arrange them. Speaking of, let's find a stool or something to put here with some paper. Waterdeep does have an air force. They have the Griffin Cavalry. The Griffin Cavalry is going to make an appearance or two in the first 5 chapters. So there will later on, if they can get some good contacts within the Griffin Cavalry, they'll be able to call in air support. They might even be able to use the Griffin Cavalry to do airdrop insertions. So that might be one way they attempt this Halo jump later on. I can't wait. We'll make a Griffin Rider NPC for them to befriend. On that, actually, I showed this off, I believe, on the stream. Whoop, don't move my map making. I showed them off during the stream on Wednesday, I think, but here is, just as a, again, let you guys have first looksies at photos. Sorry, I've got all my PNGs set to open in Photoshop, so I have to open them the long way if I just want to show somebody something. I'm starting to think that's not the smartest way to do it. Here's Rorick Kerwind, the member of the Watchful Order of Protectorists and Magists, who spends most of his time working with the City Watch. Yes, potentially carpet napalm bombs. He's definitely part of the younger crowd who's eschewing some of the more traditional fantasy. Yeah, I like the idea of him having a wand in a holster. I did want him to have a bandolier, but that option's just not there on Hero Forge yet. And after Rorick, here is a character from Waterdeep Dragon Heist, an NPC that the party might run into, and I've decided he would be a good character to bring in a Law and Order style setting. So this is Vincent Trench of the Tiger's Eye Investigations. He's modelled after an actor that I'm familiar with from a few different shows, and you know, we are looking at applying for some sponsorship with Hero Forge. It's just going to be something. At first, we just wanted to get a media agreement with them to use their pictures. So we've got the disclaimer text that we show in a lot of our pictures, saying Hero Forge is not responsible for whatever these people say, etc., etc. But my hope is to bring enough people to Hero Forge through Law and Order that they might, for example, throw a set of the characters as minis my way. My dream would be to have 2 of each player character as a mini, so that I can keep a set here and then I can mail off the minis to each of the players, and then later on, if we're in a position to do this, we can set up another camera and I can be live streaming live terrain battle maps, and of course you'll see my hand coming in to like move the characters around, but you know, just something to create a little bit more immersion. My Thursday night DM in the campaign I play in has really been stepping up his game in creating terrain and just ways to make his games that much more 3D on the table in front, and it's just incredible. So, you know, while I love working with these maps, and you know, we could still, even though print these maps out to scale, stick them on a table and have the characters as minis moving around the maps. So yeah, I very, very much want to work with Hero Forge in the future, because when I'm making all of my NPCs in Hero Forge, there's absolutely no reason. Like, they're looking to produce sets of figures, so you could buy like 6 bandits or whatever. Well, I've already got 6 watchmen, 6 members of the Bull Elk tribe that I used for making tokens in Chapter 1. So if I can even just throw them a discounted amount to buy all 6 of those to use as watchmen NPCs in our battle maps, That would just be incredible, and that would definitely be stage 2 after having the NPC, after having the player characters as minis. Hero Forge, call me. We'll just shuffle this back a little bit. Okay, let's get, okay, so we're going to get a desk and pop that, not quite there. We'll move that down a little bit, create a bit more space between it and the whiteboard, which will necessitate moving the words meeting room down. If we might just be able to squeeze the I and the N around the corner of that desk. Yes, he posted some pictures in the Law and Order chat, the Law and Order Discord, and I'm concerned. Okay, that Keegan, that man worries me sometimes. So can't wait. It's going to be amazing, and by amazing I mean potentially horrible. Let's borrow these bushes here. There's some. We'll take them down in size a wee bit. Create just a little bit more life in the room. Now we're going to need a lot of chairs. I want a Lenore to stick on the bookshelf behind me. The other thing I want to do is get a big Law and Order poster printed professionally, frame it and stick it up on the wall there. Maybe even have hashtag AWAB down the bottom. But yeah, can't wait. I'm also getting to that point where I really... Ooh, if I make this just a fraction bigger, I could squeeze the I and the R and the table there, which is really only going to be something that'll make me happy, but there's got to be a way to make it just a bit bigger. We'll just manually drag it up like that. And now we can start putting in a whole bunch of chairs around there. So we hit 10 subscribers on Wednesday. This made me so happy. When we hit maybe 50, that's when I'm thinking we might look at some t-shirts and hoodies. Might even buy the first one, and we'll roll a D100 half and round down to get a D50, and we'll send a hoodie out to somebody. But I'm so in love with the Phoenix ampersand that Keegan and I designed together. I really want it on just a big cozy hoodie. So let's grab some chairs. Okay, that's still definitely not enough space. We're just going to grab all 3 of those, move it down a bit, which is alright. That means we don't have to put in quite so many chairs, and there can always be standing room only on the bigger meetings. Yes! Yes, I'm down for that, OM. Out of interest, how would you prefer to be called when I'm chatting to you in the stream? So little Lep 011 is I just call him Lep these days. I know that you have put your name online. It's just up to you. You let me know what's going to be more comfy, cozy, etc., and I'll go with that. It's funny, I drew the individual elements of the Phoenix, but I was like, I'm not comfortable with this. And then Keegan took all of those elements and then just shifted them around a little bit, like he was working with a jigsaw puzzle, and sent it back to me. And I'm like, this is it. This is the logo. We did it. I was just so freaking happy. And then we sort of back and forth a little bit with the colors and the shadows and the text. But yeah, it's a lot of the credit definitely goes to Keegan for that one. I do love the play on OMGM. I think that's brilliant. So, out of interest, who has seen The Wild Beyond the Witchlight so far? Who's excited? Who's seen it? Who's read it? Who's excited? Now this is allowed to be a little more crowded. So I have a copy sitting on my coffee table where I crashed on the lounge a wee while. My plan is to run the carnival and possibly a little bit of the Feywild behind the carnival when now, I don't remember the exact date. It's in probably Waterdeep, City of Splendor. There is a holiday in Waterdeep marking the date in the Haptos calendar when the border between the Prime Material and the Feywild is at its thinnest. And as possibly as part of Felia's mystery backstory, I did not lep. I do love some of the alt covers, but as you can see on my bookshelf, I've got a lot of the traditional covers, and I'm big on having all of my book sets look the same. I love the presentation in a good book collection. I do want to get some guest stars on the show eventually, OM. My main thing at the moment, this will probably be part of the ongoing storyline, so we're not going to run the story in Wild Behind the Witchlight, but we're going to make use of the carnival. Depending on what information we have on Prismere after the adventure is run, we might see some of Prismere as well. So yeah, the main issue is obviously for me dealing with, I don't want to just run the adventure. I want to run maybe 3 or 4 episodes. It could wind up being 6 or more, I don't know. But I do want, I don't want Prismere as it is in the adventure book, because in the adventure book Prismere is split up a little bit, where some, to use your own term, some interlocutors have changed up the nature of the domain. So I want to do a little bit of research, see what happens towards the end of the book, and show off my take of Prismere at its absolute best. But another thing I'd be interested in playing around with is once Law and Order has, had a chance to take off a bit more, is maybe trialing something like Law and Order Baldur's Gate and working with another DM, get another set of players, and just have a few spin-offs. Those spin-offs can also feature, like there can be crossovers, we can have guest stars from one show on another, but I'd love to eventually see Law and Order at the point where we can start running campaigns in different cities. Bringing on some other DMs, I'm a dreamer, but honestly, I think a year ago I never would have imagined seeing Law and Order even at the stage where it is now. So I'm very, very excited. I think we'll just copy paste a book down here as maybe a sheet or two of paper for whatever was being read off at the last meeting, etc. Brief, you know, those parts of the TV show where a major serial killer's on the loose and everyone's standing around a desk while the chief says, alright, you're taking point on this, you and your team go deal with this thing, and so on and so forth. So here it is. That went a little faster than expected. Let's just zoom out and see how it looks. Again, it's sort of got that thing where it looks like everything that wants to be there is, but it doesn't have quite that same messy, slightly messy I have a think about that, but it still looks a little too clean for my liking. Maybe we'll just futz with some of the chairs a bit. But I'll just stew on that for a little bit and we'll go to the break room. We might even see ourselves finishing this floor today. It does need some grime. Thank you. 0.1. We've already got... it was an archery target. We've turned it into a dartboard. That was earlier on when I saw that while scrolling through the stamps and went, ooh, I like it. All right, OM, have a good one. Thanks for stopping in. You're always welcome, and I will look to see you soon. Let's get a fireplace in here. Ooh, hello, some new fireplaces. I could see Sweeney jumping at the chance to have a crack at DMing that. So we'll see where he's at in a little bit. He'd a pet mastiff in the break room. Yes. Well, I mean, we'll see what creatures are around, and maybe we'll have like the Southern Ward Watch mascot. Okay, so these are the same, just lit and unlit. We'll keep it fairly simple for the time being, and we'll slip that. We'll slip that here. See, I feel like it needs to go against the stone wall. And we'll get a couple of old couches of some sort. Is it a sofa in here? No. Couch. Yes, they're couches. Too fancy, so we want couch with pillow or Chesterfield. Oh, Lenore. Yes. No. Thanks, I hate it. I will mention at the next gathering of Law and Order people online that this has been suggested. So we're going to need to make this a little bit wider. Sort of maybe even turn it into a bit of a hexagonal shape. And with break room, and just sort of squeeze that in between the R and the O. It does need a poker table. It absolutely needs a poker table. We'll stick that down in the corner here. Let's fucking go. We'll use this train table here. It's nice enough without being fancy. You know what, we might see if we can just use this grid here as a guide. In fact, we don't even need to go back to there. We'll just get some ye olde copy paste. And we'll just, flip that way. And that, and let's just try and copy paste that, rotate it. 180. We got our chairs. And now just to add a little bit of muss. Grime is what OM said, which I like. Oh yeah, well, there's don't worry, I'm wearing pants. There is a card game called Three Dragon Ante. It is set officially. Oh, Lep, I love you. Thank you. Yes, we will save. Three Dragon Ante is a game set in the Forgotten Realms. It is a game that adventurers play, and in fact, if you look on D&D Beyond, possibly even in some of the later players' handbooks, in addition to dragon chess and cards, you can now get Three Dragon Ante set. So we can definitely have some. We are now saved. We can definitely now have some Three Dragon Ante in Waterdeep. So let's go back to the stamp catalog and look for cards. We'll need to blow that up a bit. We had previously shrunk it to be some sort of wanted poster. And need to be on the table. Then what we'll do is just grab that and there needs to be a button I can press. That will let me put something on top of the other ones. Oh, Deck of Many Things in Strahd. I played in Charles Kahn's version of Curse of Strahd, and he included a whittled down Deck of Many Things. I wasn't going to touch it. I was like, official APOD, want to draw some cards. My highly intelligent character Artificer would know far better than to do that. Like, we'll do this the D&D way. I rolled a wisdom check. A nat 1. My Artificer says, fascinating, I'll take 3. Thankfully, I wasn't the one fucked over by it. It was another guy who wound up losing all of his items, magical and mundane. I lost a point of intelligence. Great for an artificer, but then I leveled up, which gave me an ability score boost, and I got the one where I go up by a certain amount of XP, so I got a couple levels out of it. All in all, came out better than worse. Let's go look in the stamp catalog for some animals. And hello, average taxpayer. Good to see you back. I see your name in the chat list pretty much every week at each session, so always a pleasure to have you back. Let's look for, let's spell it correctly, animals. Okay, animals dead and alive, cooked and uncooked, fresh and not. Yep. I think I have a version of the Deck of Many Things from an old 3rd edition box that I picked up. And, look, you don't need to have the whole deck, that's the thing. You can, if you want to use the Deck of Many Things, you can go through the deck, pull out the cards you don't want to risk your players drawing, put the rest in. Pick a couple that will do some great things. Pick a couple that will be drawbacks, but nothing that's going to punish your players too harshly, and then go for it. You know, if you're playing, I don't know, like Critical Role level 14 characters, and you're like, you know what, these guys have deserved the whole thing. Sure, let them take the risk, but otherwise, you know, let them have it, or let them have what of it you're okay with them having. Oh my God! Look at it! This good boy is going in the break room. Now, do we make him a dire puppy, or do we shrink him down just a little bit? Or her, you know? Let's go with odds is a boy, even she's a girl, and we'll give it a roll. It's odds, he's a boy. I rolled a 3. So this good boy can go in the break room, and what I'm thinking is we'll get a rug, put it somewhere in the corner, and he can just be dozing on the rug. It'll be amazing. Yeah, 1d4 wishes might be a little OP. That feels like the boon equivalent of the you lose your soul, rip up your character sheet and burn the pieces. Now I think there was some fur rugs here as well. Maybe there were not, so let's go. Let's just try fur, I guess. Nope. I guess we're trying rug. Animal rugs. Ooh, animal pelt rugs. That looks slightly better quality. This is good. I like the look of this one. Puppy can... Puppy can be... Oops. Dozing in. No. No. Puppy is not under the rug. Let's just make him a little bit bigger. So I think what we're going to do is maybe have a vote on what the puppy's name should be, and we'll just say that people in the comments Okay, if they let us know what their Twitch username is, we can check if they're a subscriber, and their votes will be worth 2. Okay, I'm gonna shuffle this down here a little bit, and what we might even do is just chuck a partition in along here. This one's gonna be a little bit thinner. This time it is actually width, go figure. Yeah, that looks about even. Safety first and all that. And let's put maybe a bit of a food cabinet table here as well. So again, with the watch, just sort of bulk buying everything. I mean, this may be the guard post, but it's the southern ward. They're not rich here. Put that there, and then you know what? We'll just shove a bookshelf in here that they can have some stuff to read. Yes, police dog name. Butch. I like Butch. When we're finished with the stream and I've had my lunch and my lunch meds, priorities, I will take a screenshot of the break room with a big red arrow pointing at the puppy, being like, we need police dog names, and then throw your comments in underneath. Let's go back to, okay, these need to be at layer 1 so that our food can be at layer 2. Get some pie. And then we'll get some eaten pie. No, we don't want that one again. And then I think we'll go get some less desserty type foods, some breads, some meats. Basket of apples, sure, why not? And maybe even some bread rolls. Got a basket with a crab crawling? Cool. No. And then a basket of herrings, kippers? Nah, I'm good, thanks. Is that a record? Vintage wine bottles? Oh, that's a bottle from the top. It looks like a vinyl. Whee! Okay. Dinner dishes. Sure. What sort of dinner dishes do we have? Okay. Let's go to kitchen. This kitchen, I believe, also has some food in large quantities. I distinctly recall there being... You know what? Cheese is always good. Keeps for a while. Weird, whatever. Nope, that's brush, not stamp. Running down, that's okay. We're nearing the end of the stream. Okay. See, I want something like, oh, we already have a basket of bread rolls. We'll add some grapes. Sure, why not? You know what? I think that'll do. I'm okay with that. There's some healthy-ish food. There's some unhealthy food. Let's go ahead and stick maybe even one of these corner bookshelves tucked away in the corner, because reading on your lunch break when there's poker and darts, nerds. And again, we still need to add a little bit of that grime, as OM said. So we're back at the meeting room for now, just to add what I like. We're going to go with, we're adding grime. I think the issue here is that this meeting room looks just a little too perfect. And by perfect, I don't mean everything's laid out incredibly. What I mean is there's just none of the little incongruencies that come from human behavior. So not just alignment of all the placeables, although that's obviously something that will help. The humans are very incongruent creatures, but our brains are also designed to notice things like straight lines, repeating patterns, which is why we can tell the difference between... Ooh, cobwebs. Let's go look for them. I'm sure this new gothic horror set should have some. Let's go web. Okay. And we have corner cobwebs. Cogweb? What the hell is a cogweb? What are we looking at here? Okay. So I think we want to go... I think we want to make it a little bit smaller. Or are we making it... Is it just me, or is it changing every time we make it bigger? This is... Every time I move the mouse, it's creating a different... I am losing my mind. Okay, now that we've got one set... Ooh, yes. I was thinking during this my very short, I hope, break, that maybe having a little bit of food scraps in the corner with some cockroaches and mice, like some food was snuck in during the last meeting and some scraps were left aside. So putting a couple of mice near there sounds like it would be very, very useful. Also, there's this little alcove here that probably wants a table or a statue or a painting or something. We'll come to that in a minute. Let's see if we can find... Yes! Brilliant. Thank you! Oh, this is why it helps to have a second, third, fourth, fifth set of eyes. Let's go. I believe they're rats? Wait a minute, what's going on here? Whoa! How did that happen? This is painting whole areas? How did this place single? Much better. Okay. I don't even remember clicking multiple or auto. But there we go. That happened. See if scrap is a thing. Nope. Okay, we'll just go back to food. And now we'll look for some of that off. Ooh, crumpled paper. Look, if we can't find crumpled paper, we'll find something that looks like crumpled paper. That's you're on. Okay. Let's just grab, like someone's slipped in a plate of dinner and then just left it sitting on the floor with rats crawling over it. Yeah. Still, brilliant. Okay. Nope, that's sheep. What do we say? Page. Book. Scroll. Where did the pages go? Not paper. No, I remember that. Okay, we'll just have to go borrow some from the bullpen. We'll make sure that's set to 0. And we'll just... I said we'll make sure that's set to 0. Copy. And paste that down there, and then we'll just mix that up a bit. I mean, it's still the same. If they were all sitting at the same meeting, then it stands to reason that stuff left sitting on the floor would look the same. And we'll just chuck one about there as well. Yeah, see that? That one, I don't like that one for reasons I'm not 100% sure about. But let's push that off to the side there like that. Let's try notes, if only to satisfy my brain. There's some notes. It's very curious the way this stamp catalogue works sometimes. You know, what I'm thinking is maybe some sort of object here that can be used to craft illusions. Like an enchanted major image object. Sort of like what we had up here in our technology junkies room. But I have a new idea as to maybe how I want to build it. So let's go back to the catalog. And we'll select Arcane. No kidding, there's holy water. That's kind of cool. And what's this? Blood, magic potions. Let's take this. It's no longer holy water. We'll blow it up a bit. What I'm thinking of doing, right, is taking something like a suit of armor or a dressmaker's doll. Oh, cancel Arcane. Mannequin. Ooh, that's big. So what we're gonna do is stick like a mannequin over the top. Maybe still a bit big. Yeah, that'll work. And then what we're going to do is drop the opacity down to maybe 0.25. Nope. 5. 7.5. Okay, that could work. And then we're going to put like a soft light mixed into that. Create this idea that it's an illusory see-through image. Come on, come on. Ooh. Yeah, we'll use this green one. And we'll just soften that up. We'll try bringing that down to 0.5. Now, let's take this mannequin boy and move him. Oop, that's not him. Move him up a little bit more, just so he's slightly more visible. And we've got this idea of like a large ghostly figure looming as, this is your perpetrator, know him. Just adds a little bit more idea of life, what's going on in this room. Your fugitive's name is Wizard Richard Kemble. Okay, yeah, we'll see if we can put like a something here, trash can overflowing. How are we gonna make it though? I mean, I doubt trash can will do much. Box, see if there's an open crate. See if we can find an open. Really? Again, something odd's going on here, and only it's still got the light, still being filtered by light only, even though it's not up there anymore. Filter reset? Oh, oh. I thought it might filter out some of the other stuff, but no. So that's important. Where is it? It's still not working. Bucket is good. Now that's a thought. That's something I might add later on when we look at some industrialists trying to shrink down magic items, making them more accessible to people. Okay, let's just escape that, come back. And there it is. The tag has reappeared. Definitely have to tag, lol, Incarnate in a tweet saying, hey, sometimes the tags vanish, and so the catalog's still being filtered, even though it shouldn't be. Or should be, but we should know it. I'll work out the wording later on. Okay, bucket. Hey, an empty milk bucket will do nicely. Well played. Average taxpayer. I'm just going to call you taxpayer. I think pretty great, so, you know, average, you know. And we'll just stick that here. And then find some assorted rubbish to throw in it. In fact, let's find, I think it's going to be clutter. Yeah. Clutter's getting a whole lot of use here. First things first, let's just put a layer of God only knows, the gods only know what in the bottom. Shrink that down a little bit. And then being at the bottom of the can, shrink it. Looks like I'll have to shrink it down. We're getting into pixels here, that's okay. We'll just make that a lot darker. And back to the catalog. I want to see if there's like just a pile of stuff. Oh, that's a candle on a skull, isn't it? Yep. Debris pile. I think this could work for us. We'll just make it a lot smaller. It's already as small as it will go. But, you know, we'll see if we can just shrink it down a little bit more. Now, can we make it look overflowing by just putting it half in or half out, or is that not going to work? No, I don't think that's going to work, because... Whoa. Okay, so when you hit the resize, it immediately puts it back up to 10, which is the minimum size. This is good to know. Hands away from the WASD keys. Ooh, an evidence locker? Yes. Let's just transform that. That'll do. And then we'll put some of the same stamp. Whoops, didn't mean to do that. We'll move that down to layer 0. And just sort of... Oh, beautiful! Bloody beautiful. Now, what I would like to do is go to text options. We're going to turn this into basically a shopping list over here. like that should probably, yeah, they look about the right. Bunk, not bink. Okay, and at 2:07, at least according to my laptop and my phone, that takes us well and truly past the 2-hour mark, and I would say we've pretty comfortably finished the first floor. Alright, well, that said, I'm going to go eat, have my lunch meds. This has been a lot of fun. Next week we're going to get started on the upper floors, so stay tuned for that, and we'll see you on Tuesday night / Wednesday morning when we resume the story of Law and Order, the ongoing investigation. Our Wardens will hopefully follow the lead up to Sethma's court, and maybe they won't, because, as always, all watchmen are bastards.